Is the earth round? What Islam says about it? Firstly, the Islamic scholars are unanimously agreed that the earth is round, but to human eyes it appears to be flat, because it is very big and its roundness or curvature cannot be seen at close distances. So the one who stands and looks sees it as flat, but when viewed as a whole, in reality it is round. Ibn Hazm said, the proofs of the Qur'an and Sunnah indicate that it is round. Secondly, the verse interpretation of the meaning, and Allah has made for you the earth widespread, an expanse. Nu 71-19 indicates that it is spread out and shaped so that people can feel settled in it and be able to live and prosper in it. Ibn Kathir said, that is, he spread it out, prepared it, made it stable and made it firm by means of the mountains. Tafsir Ibn Kathir, 8-247. Similarly, the verse interpretation of the meaning, have we not made the earth as a bed, and Naba 78-6 means that it is spread out and prepared for you and for your benefit, so that you can cultivate it, build dwellings in it and travel through it. Ibn Kathir said, that is, it is prepared for people in such a way that they can live in it, and it is firm, stable and steady. Tafsir Ibn Kathir, 8-307. And the verse interpretation of the meaning, and the earth we spread out, and placed therein firm mountains, and caused to grow therein all kinds of things in due proportion, Al-Hijr 15:19 means we spread it out and placed firm mountains therein. This is like the verse in which Allah says interpretation of the meaning, and it is He who spread out the earth, and placed therein firm mountains and rivers Ar-Ra'd 13-3. There is no contradiction between saying that it is round and saying that it was spread out, because in fact in its totality it is round, but to the one who stands on it and looks at it, it appears flat, as it appears to everyone. Ar-Razi, may Allah have mercy on him, said, if it is said, do the words and the earth we spread out indicate that it is flat? We would respond, yes, because the earth, even though it is round, is an enormous sphere, and each little part of this enormous sphere, when it is looked at, appears to be flat. As that is the case, this will dispel what they mentioned of confusion. The evidence for that is the verse in which Allah, may He be exalted, says interpretation of the meaning, and the mountains as pegs, and Naba 78-7. He called them autad pegs even though these mountains may have large flat surfaces. And the same is true in this case. End quote from Tafsir Ar-Razi, 1931. Sheikh Ash-Shankiti said, if the scholars of Islam affirm that the earth is round, then what would they say about the verse in which Allah, may He be exalted, says interpretation of the meaning, do they not look at the camels, how they are created? And at the heaven, how it is raised? And at the mountains, how they are rooted and fixed firm? And at the earth, how it is spread out? Al-Ghashiyah 88-17-20. Their response will be the same as their response concerning the verse in which Allah, may He be exalted, says interpretation of the meaning, until, when He reached the setting place of the sun, He found it setting in a spring of black muddy or hot water Al-Kahf 18-86, that is, as it appears to be in the eye of the beholder, because the sun sets on one country, but remains up in the sky for another, until it rises from the east on the following morning. So the earth looks flat in every region or part of it, because of its immense size. This does not contradict its real shape, because we may see a very high mountain, but if we climb it and reach its summit we may find a flat surface there, and find an entire nation living there, and some of the people there may not know anything about the rest of the world, and so on. End quote. Adwa al-Bayan, 8 Sheikh Rafi ad-Din ibn Waliullah ad-Dalawi said in his book at Takmil, some may understand words such as made the earth as a bed and Naba 78-6, he spread the earth and Naziat 79-30 and how it is spread out. Al-Ghashiyah 88-20 as meaning that it is flat, whereas the scholars affirm that it is round on the basis of sound evidence, so it is thought that there is a conflict. That may be refuted by the fact that the visible part of it for a person standing on it appears flat, because the larger a circle is, the more spread out it is, so we may say that it is flat on the basis of that part of it that is visible to us, and it is round in its totality, on the basis of rational thinking. More than one of the scholars have narrated that there is consensus that the earth is round. For example, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah narrated that from Ibn al-Munadi, when he said, Imam Abul Hussein narrated from the prominent scholars who are well known for knowledge of reports and major works in religious sciences, from the second level of Ahmad's companions, that there was no difference of opinion among the scholars that the sky is like a ball. He said, similarly they were unanimously agreed that the earth, with all that it contains of land and sea is like a ball. He said, that is indicated by the fact that the sun, moon and stars do not rise and set over those who are in different parts of the earth at the same time, rather that occurs in the east before it occurs in the west. End quote from Majmu'u al-Fatawa 25 195. He, may Allah have mercy on him, was asked about two men who disputed about the nature of heaven and earth, were they both round bodies? One of them said that they were, but the other denied that and said there is no basis for that. What is the correct view? He replied, the heavens are round, according to the Muslim scholars. More than one of the scholars and Muslim leaders narrated that the Muslims are unanimously agreed on that, such as Ibn al-Munadi, one of the leading figures among the second level of the companions of Imam Ahmad, who wrote approximately 400 books. Consensus on this point was also narrated by Imam Ibn Hazm and Abul Faraj ibn al-Jazi. The scholars narrated that with well-known chains of narration isnads from the Sahaba and Tabi'in, and they quoted that from the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger. They discussed that in detail with orally transmitted evidence. There is also mathematical evidence to that effect, and I do not know of anyone among the well-known Muslim scholars who denied that, apart from a few of those who engaged in arguments who, when they debated with the astrologers, denied it for the sake of argument and said, it may be square or hexagonal and so on. They did not deny that it could be round, but they said that the opposite of that was possible. I do not know of anyone who said that it is not round, with any certainty, apart from some ignorant people to whom no one pays any attention. End quote from Majmu'u al-Fatawa 6/586. Abu Muhammad ibn Hazm said, evidence for the earth being round. Abu Muhammad said, we are going to discuss some of the arguments against the idea that the earth is round. They said, there is sound evidence that the earth is round, but the common folk say otherwise. Our response, and Allah is the source of strength, is that none of the leading Muslim scholars who deserve to be called imams or leaders in knowledge, may Allah be pleased with them, denied that the earth is round, and there is no narration from them to deny that. Rather, the evidence in the Qur'an and Sunnah stated that it is round. And he quoted evidence to that effect. End quote from Al-Fasl fil Malal wal Awa wal Nihel 278. The evidence that the earth is round includes the following: Allah, may He be exalted, says, interpretation of the meaning, He created the heavens and earth for a true purpose, He wraps the night around the day and the day around the night, as Zumar 39-5. Ibn Hazm and others quoted this verse as evidence. Shaykh ibn Uthaymin, may Allah have mercy on him, said, "The earth is round, based on the evidence of the Qur'an, reality, and scientific views." The evidence of the Qur'an is the verse in which Allah, may He be exalted, says, interpretation of the meaning, He created the heavens and earth for a true purpose, He wraps the night around the day and the day around the night, as Zumar 39-5. The word yukawar, translated here as wraps around, means to make something round, like a turban. It is well known that night and day follow one another on earth, which implies that the earth is round, because if you wrap one thing around another thing, and the thing that it is wrapped around is the earth, then earth must be round. With regard to real-life evidence, this has been proven. If a man were to fly from Jeddah, for example, heading west, he would come back to Jeddah from the east, if he flew in a straight line. This is something concerning which no one differs. With regard to the words of the scholars, they stated that if a man died in the west at sunset, and another died in the west at sunset, and there was some distance between them, the one who died in the west at sunset would inherit from the one who died in the east at sunset, if he was one of his heirs. This indicates that the earth is round, because if the earth were flat, sunset in all regions would occur at the same time. Once this is established, no one can deny it. This is not contradicted by the verses in which Allah, may He be exalted, says, interpretation of the meaning. Do they not look at the camels, how they are created? And at the heaven, how it is raised? And at the mountains, how they are rooted and fixed firm? And at the earth, how it is spread out? Al-Ghashiyah 88-17-20. Because the earth is huge and its curvature cannot be seen from a short distance, it appears to be spread out and one cannot see anything that would make one fear living on it, but this does not contradict the fact that it is round, because it is very big. However, they say that it is not evenly round, rather it is indented or pushed in at the north and south poles. Hence they say that it is egg-shaped. End quote from Fata'awa Noor Allah ad-Darb. Thus it is known that the earth is round, and that is not contradicted by the fact that it is like an egg. Rather, the false view is that which claims that it is flat, as the Church used to believe, and for that reason used to curse and burn those scientists who said that it was round.